All right, let's go through and talk about something I touched on before about people talking about arts not working in the cage or in the street. So I saw a video the other day of this guy. Supposedly, I read online he was hired to do this by the Chinese government. I don't know if that's true. Anyway, but I've seen him in a couple videos now. And the first one I saw, he was fighting a Wing Chun. No, sorry, it was a Wing Chun guy. He was fighting a Muay Thai guy, and beat the hell out of the Muay Thai guy. Ran him into the mirrors, broke the mirrors, and everything else. And everybody was like, on the bottom was like, I told you Wing Chun works and all this. Then I saw him fighting, I believe it was a karate guy. I want to say Kyokushin guy, but I'm not positive. And same thing, he got in there and beat the guy up. So this is where we're at today. This is what we got to do. If basically, if you don't think an art works and you push people to a point that they have to find one of their best guys to go out and just beat the living hell out of people, that's what we have to do. Everybody says Aikido doesn't work. But Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu recently made wrist locks legal in Jiu-Jitsu. Now these guys are tapping from wrist locks. So I guess now we're going to say, but they don't work the way they use them. Here's the thing. In martial arts, especially traditional martial arts, you learn principles. So in other words, by taking Aikido for an example, you learn to move and you take the wrist down. And your uke or your dummy for American terms just kind of goes with the flow because that's a good training partner. That's a good uke. There's no reason for him to resist everything because you can't train that way. It's like in jiu-jitsu, if you're practicing your arm bars and the guy resists every time you can't, you're not able to train. And it's the same in any other art. And but learning the principles behind a wrist lock and doing a wrist lock, whether you're standing, whether you're on the ground, whether any other position, it's still a wrist lock. Just like, an arm bar is still an arm bar. Saying that art doesn't work. See, here's the thing. A lot of arts weren't designed for the cage. You take any wrist lock, Chin-Na, Hapkido, Aikido, Aikido-Jiu-Jitsu, you can't use that in the cage because your wrists are taped up. You take an art like Kimpo, Wing Chun, where they strike, they do the multiple strikes to the stroke, those strike the eyes, the neck, the groin, and come here and strike the neck, they hit the groin, and so on and so forth. I don't do those all the time in practice. I read the history of them, but I don't do them. Anyway, so you can't do that stuff in the cage. And in reality, even doing that in the street, unless it's a true self-defense situation, just your average schoolyard fight, you can't poke somebody in the eyes, punch them in the throat, kick them in the groin. I guess you can, but you go to jail. Oh man, trying to figure out exactly where I'm going with this blog. I'm kind of rambling on a little bit. I keep seeing so many things to the point that, a Wing Chun guy has to go around and start beating people up just to prove his art works. Like, why are we as a society to the point that if you don't see that art in UFC, it must not work? Why are we to that point? And karate catches a ton of slack. I've read so much stuff about, karate video, or I posted a karate on my YouTube actually. Hakawa, was that who it was? And Steven Seagal, the Goju-Ryu master. And I've gotten so many negative comments. Of course, I go and delete them. I don't allow negativity on my page. Saying, this crap would never work in a cage. Really? Because Loyola Machida was a karate guy. He was Shotokan. Shotokan and Goju-Ryu, kind of like sister arts. Real similar. So tell me again how karate doesn't work. And that's what's so frustrating. For years, Taekwondo was a joke. Everybody makes fun of Taekwondo. Taekwondo was just, that stuff didn't work, all that kicking and stuff. And now you got at least a dozen people in the UFC that are Taekwondo black belts, kicking people's heads off. Tell me again how Taekwondo doesn't work. You can't name an art. Back to Aikido again. It's usually, and I say this, and I love Jiu-Jitsu. I practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Been practicing it for a really long time. But it seems to be those guys, or it's Jiu-Jitsu guys and MMA fans. Those are the two that I tend to see a lot of negativity because they don't understand traditional arts. They don't understand principles. They don't understand that working a technique, working a basic wrist lock can lead to a million other things. That same wrist lock can be used on the ground. It can be used standing. It can be used when you're being held. But you have to start somewhere. If I start, you take Hapkido, someone grabs your wrist. Somebody's like, well, no one's ever going to grab your wrist. Okay, so where do we start? How do we teach the basic fundamentals if we can't just start with something basic and fundamental? Does that make sense? So if I want to say, okay, so here we go, we're going to teach you wrist lock from a full-on punch to the face, and the student doesn't have the timing and the reflexes and gets punched in the face. How is that going to help anybody? So we start from fundamental techniques, and you work your basics, and if you want to take it and you want to do it from a full punch after you've gotten to a certain level, then fine, do that. It'll work. When I taught Hapkido, which I don't anymore, I kind of regret that. But I used to teach Hapkido, and once my guys got to black belt, I would take them from working on all the different grabs and grips and, you know, light punches, and on their black belt test, I would have them do full-on punches, and no one ever got hurt because after that many years of training, you develop the technique and the reflexes and the timing that you can deal with those type of situations. But in the beginning, start with a basic wrist lock, just a basic strike, something simple that everybody can learn and you can grow on. So by saying something doesn't work, just simply says you truly do not understand what martial arts is about. Even the guys in the UFC, that's what everybody, you know, talks about UFC, and I think, dude, UFC is fun to watch. I enjoy it, but I don't think that it's the end all be all. You know, yeah, these guys are great fighters, but the flip side of that is these guys are great athletes. You know, not everybody's an athlete. Some people, they're never going to have lightning speed and a lot of muscle, and, you know, they need to be taught something that can, one, that they just enjoy doing, or two, if they're looking for self-defense, something that they can defend themselves with. Simple, basic, they can break away and run, or whatever it needs to be. Not everything needs to be about stomping someone's head into the ground. I guess that's all I have to say. I think that martial artists have a lot of negativity within them, but I think the real problem is you have fans of martial arts, like MMA fans, that just don't get it. They don't understand that all these great fighters, they started in a basic program, a karate, taekwondo, worked their way up. Whether they stayed in that art or they moved on to something else, they've taken what they've learned over the years, they mix it together, become martial arts. Now nowadays, you have pure MMA gyms where you go in there and it's nothing but just punching and kicking and grappling. But most of these guys have a traditional background. They have some art in their background that, you know, whether it be taekwondo or karate or judo or, you know, whatever. They have something that, you know, there's even Roy Dean is an Aikido guy. He's a really accomplished jiu-jitsu guy, but he's also an Aikido guy. So that, you know, there's guys out there that are that can vouch for what I'm saying. And if you don't do an art, don't make fun of it. Don't make fun of what someone else is doing. Don't go and criticize what you know nothing about. Nothing, literally. Anyway, it just drives me up the wall. It really does. I mean, I've deleted on my video of Steven Seagal and Hakama Sensei. I've deleted probably over 100 comments. People are talking so bad. I want to see them get in the cage and do that. You know, UFC fighters would kill these guys. Well, yeah, you know, Hakama Sensei's 80-something years old. Steven Seagal is somewhere in his 50s, maybe even around 60. So yeah, probably because they're really way out of shape. So anyway, that being said, man, I think that's it. I just wanted to get on here and kind of I was supposed to be a blog, but I think I'm venting more than I'm making a blog. But anyway, that's about it. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.